Welcome to Heavy Talk. I'm your girl, Heaven Sharnice, aka Heavy, and I am back in an episode of Heavy Talk. Here to serve us some more straight talk with no chaser. Heavy Talk, happy Heavy Talk Friday. Hope that you had a good week. Let's get right into today's episode, giving you your inspiration, your word of the day. Today's word is company. As a woman of faith, I take heed of the verse, bad company corrupts good character. Be mindful of the company you keep. Subconsciously, you may start to pick up the habits, sayings, and mannerisms of the company you keep. As always, remember that you can follow at Heavy Talk on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for daily words and inspiration. Now let's get right into today's episode. I want to start with telling you, as promised, the reason why last week's episode, which really came out this week, was a little late, and that is because our scholarship. Now, if you don't know, my brands, the Black Thought blog and Heavy Talk Media, offer a quarterly Black business scholarship that's funded by donations. Every quarter, we give away a scholarship to an impactful Black business owner. So this past weekend, or depending on when you're hearing this, I traveled to Columbus, Georgia, to hand out the fourth Black business scholarship for 13 counseling services. And 413 Counseling Services offers affordable mental health services. So to learn more about the scholarship or this quarter scholar, make sure that you head to the Black Dot blog. And honestly, no matter when you're hearing this, I'm pretty sure that a scholarship cycle will be open. So if you do know a Black business owner that's trying to make an impact in the community, feel free to nominate them. Or if you are a Black business owner that's making a difference in the community, self-nominate. That's completely an option. And if you're just looking for a way to support a Black business owner other than nominating, make a $5 donation to support a scholar. Donations are accepted all year long. No amount is too little. Just help out and help get someone's Black business journey moving or growing. Now, let's get into our topics of this episode, starting with more Love and Hip Hop, Erica Mena drama. So we talked about the whole Erica Mena thing on a previous episode. If you're not familiar, I'll just give you a quick summarization because I don't want to be repetitive for people that have already heard it or know about it. Erica Mena is a reality star on the show Love and Hip Hop. Atlanta, and during an episode of the show, she was in an argument with one of her reality show stars, and she called that lady, which is believed that she's Jamaican, by the name of Spice. She called her a monkey, a blue monkey, and proceeded to make monkey noises. And of course, social media was not having that. So there's a lot of backlash because of that, causing her to be fired from the show Love and Hip Hop. And Love and Hip Hop also put out a statement saying that they don't condone this type of behavior, and that as of now, they won't be doing any more filming with her, and you won't see her in the next season of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. So I talked about that on a previous episode. What I want to talk about on this episode is some comments that Erica Mena has made recently, which I feel like is just really making the whole situation worse. And I'm just getting honestly more and more disgusted as this whole thing unfolds. So from the incident that happened with Erica Mena calling the lady Spice a monkey, Love and Hip Hop did a round table conversation with other Love and Hip Hop reality stars discussing racism and the impact of what it is that happened between Erica Mena and Spice. So Love and Hip Hop posted a clip of the round table on their Instagram page, and Erica commented under the Instagram page saying that essentially she should have been a part of this conversation so that she could give her side. And then she also went on to single out the different people that were participating in the round table talk and just say reasons why they shouldn't be doing it, because maybe they're not qualified or they've had other controversial moments, shall I say. So I think that really just made the whole thing worse, because why don't you just have a seat for a minute? You just steady talking, and to me, you're just adding more fuel to the fire. And I don't know exactly what the timing was of these two things, but I know around the same time she posted something on her Instagram story that was something like showing the dates, saying that the date of when that incident happened with her calling the lady a monkey, and then showing like a behind the scenes of when she was shooting for the show after that incident happened. I guess she was doing all that to say, like, even after she said what she said, like she was still filming and stuff like that, which I don't really get the point of that, but I could kind of get the point. My whole thing from that, before I say my whole thing, I also want to read a statement that her rep put out in regards to the roundtable talk. It said, "It is very disappointing Erica was not included in the discussion about the incident that occurred while filming the show, and that the network chose to silence her voice. She would have welcomed opportunity to discuss what happened in a way that was productive and made this roundtable truly a valuable moment of learning for all. It is also worth noting that the network continued filming with Erica for more than 7 months after the actual incident occurred, despite claims that filming with her was stopped after it happened." Two things can be true at the exact same time. It can be true that MTV is wrong. And I said this when we first talked about this Erica Mena thing, that I thought that they were grimy. I said then and I say now that they knew that Erica made these comments when it was being filmed. They knew right away, because I'm sure that production was there. They knew that she made these comments when it went to editing. They knew that she made those comments. They knew that she made those comments once it was actually seen on the TV. So for them to not fire her during all of that time, and for them to even let it air, that was problematic in itself. I said that then. So it could be true that MTV is wrong for that and that they're grimy. And it can also be true that what Erica Mena said was wrong and that she should not have said it at all. So I don't really get what she's trying to say here, like, at all. I feel like she's just making it worse. Adding on to that, around this time, I believe it's in the same special where Love and Hip Hop had their roundtable talk, they pulled up some archive footage of Erica Mena talking with another star on the show Love and Hip Hop named Yandy about the comments that she made in calling the lady a monkey. And in what Erica was saying when she was confronted about her comments, she was saying, like, I have Black family, I married a Black man, I have Black kids, so I couldn't possibly be racist. Don't we hear white people say that often when they're told that they being racist? The first thing that they say is, I got Black friends or something like that. So that's really what Erica said. I got Black kids. I married a Black man. Again, two things can be true. You could have married a Black man and have Black kids and still be racist. That's what makes it, or still have racial undertones. That still what makes it all the more wrong. Honestly, I don't think that she's getting this at all. Like, I don't think that she gets the point. She's seeming like she keeps like doubling down on what she's saying and saying, if you bring up my kids, then all bets are off. Like, no, as I said before, if the first thing that comes to mind when someone brings up your kids, when kids definitely should be off limits, but as the first thing that comes to mind is like a racial slur, then that says a lot about you. And I am continuing to side eye anybody who tries to justify what she says, because there is no justification at all whatsoever. It's foul from the top to the bottom. She is foul, and MTV and Love and Hip Hop are foul, because this should have never aired in the first place, for one, and she should have been fired immediately when word got back to the higher ups that this is what she said. Erica just needs to go sit down, and I would not be surprised if she continues to lose deals, because it doesn't seem like she really gets it, or that she's being apologetic at all, in my opinion. Now let's get into more entertainment news. Briefly talking about the WGA strike. It is officially over after 148 days. According to this article that I read from People, the Writers Guild of America has announced the strike is coming to an end. Although the contract has yet to be ratified, writers can now return to work. Here are some of the deal points that the new agreement includes: increased foreign streaming residuals and viewership-based streaming bonuses. It is worth noting, though, that the actor strike is still ongoing. So we'll see if the writers' strike ending will have any impact on the actor strike ending. But I'm glad that the writers are getting that they got somewhere and they will finally start to be compensated for all the work that they do. Now let's get into sports with Heavy Sports Corner. I want to start with talking about the game of the week of NFL Sunday, and that was the Dolphins game. The Dolphins scored 70 points against the Broncos. Can you believe it? The score was 70-20. The Dolphins scored 7 touchdowns. There were so many jokes, so many memes during and after this game. I caught a little bit of it and I had to turn it off. It was honestly embarrassing for everyone involved. When I cut the game on, I think the score was at 56. I thought that it was a screen error. I thought that somebody had pushed like the wrong number because I said, ain't no way. A football game, we already up to 56 points. Like, this got to be an error. No, I went to check ESPN Bleacher Report and it said the same thing there. I said, no way. The Broncos getting bust like this, not happening at all whatsoever. The very first thing that came to mind as I was just watching this is, one, are the Broncos rethinking that mega deal that they gave Russell Wilson when he was coming over from the Seahawks? And the second thing that came to mind is them reports that was coming out that Russell Wilson, I think it was last season, that he was calling Seahawks plays and everybody was confused because, like, bro, you're not on the Seahawks anymore and none of us were, so we don't even know what these plays are that you're calling. My. I hope that the Broncos can get it together, and I'm echoing what I seen Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp say when they were talking about this debacle of a game. Everybody on the Broncos franchise should be embarrassed, and some people should be losing their jobs, especially the coaches. Defensive coordinator, like, what's going on? How you allow them to score 70 points? You got to be kidding me. Now, another game of the week that everybody had their eyes on. And it really was less about the game and more about who was at the game. You probably already know what I'm going to say, and that's Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Oh my goodness. There's been nonstop media coverage about this, and I'm not even really getting why. There was media coverage about these two before Taylor Swift even came to the game. There was so much speculation as to if they were dating, and they was all up in their business. Now, since she went to the Chiefs game and was in the box with Travis's mom watching the game, there's just been so many other reports. Now people are confirming, okay, they're definitely dating. I'm siding with the people that think this is all a stunt. For some reason, I'm just not buying it at all whatsoever. The parts of this that I do want to talk about is the conversation that has evolved on social media. One part of the conversation is whether Travis Kelce upgraded or downgraded. People are saying that Travis Kelce downgraded with Taylor Swift because they're pulling up photos of Travis Kelce's ex, which is a Black lady who was very, very pretty and bodacious. So they're saying, comparing her to Taylor Swift, like, there's no way that Travis could like really lose his ex for Taylor Swift. Now, I think that y'all are foul, for one, for talking about Taylor like that. And for two, we're slowly basing an upgrade on a downgrade on someone's appearance, not on what their personality is, what their characteristics is. we're solely based on looks now. I thought that we were all old enough to know that looks aren't everything. And y'all bothering that nice Black woman. She all minding her business. They broke up a long time ago, and y'all bothering her. Leave that woman alone. Y'all don't know if this could be triggering to her or could put her in a very sad place. Like, just leave the woman alone. The other part of this that I think is interesting of the commentary, I think it's interesting, and I think that it's quite true, is that Travis did a whole switcheroo. It was like last season, my man had a beard. He was just seemed all the way dressing different. Now he didn't cut off his beard. The jokes are he looked like a state trooper, which I would have to agree with. And then he didn't stop seemingly, because we don't know if they are definitely dated, him and Taylor Swift. He seemingly stopped dating Black girls and got him a white girl in Taylor Swift. My. More football news. I want to talk about Davante Adams. I stay locked in on anything Davante Adams related because he used to be one of my favorite players on the Packers before he left. What I want to talk about is this is just irony. Irony. Davante Adams left the Packers to go play for the Raiders. When he left the Packers, the reason he said he joined the Raiders is because he wanted to play with Derek Carr. Almost as soon as Davante Adams got to the Raiders, Derek Carr signed a deal with the Saints. So the whole reason why you left the Packers was to go play with Derek Carr, and he's not even there anymore. Now, this season, when the Raiders are 1-2, it seems like Davante Adams is not happy at all. He's spoken out about the slow start that the Raiders are having. The main part that I want to talk about that he said is, we're not doing things the right way to establish a winning culture. He also went on to say, we got to go out there and do it. That's the theme of this year, doing it. Not just talking about it and figuring it out and figuring out what we need to do. We did all that last year. This year, we got to be about it. It sounds like someone who is unhappy, who's getting fed up. In a minute, he about to be like, trade me. I don't want to be here. I did not leave the Packers to come and have to deal with this. Lastly, in football, well, I should say NFL football, I want to briefly talk about Colin Kaepernick. So, the Jets lost Aaron Rodgers with his season-ending injuries, putting them back in the predicament or the situation that they were in a couple seasons ago with Zach Wilson. The Jets have been getting bust since Aaron Rodgers' injury, aside from that game where they had that spectacular punt return that won them the game, that had all of social media talking, that was a SportsCenter top 10. Aside from that, they have not been doing good. Zach Wilson has really not been playing good at all, which has been leading to a lot of reports that the Jets front office is not pleased and that Jets players are not pleased. So more reports have come out that the Jets are looking for another quarterback because the whole Zach Wilson thing is just not working. As these reports have been coming out, I guess Colin Kaepernick must have heard about it because he put out a statement. He sent a statement to the NFL expressing his interest in playing for the Jets. Now, if you don't know about Colin Kaepernick, honestly, you must have been living under a rock because almost everybody know about Colin Kaepernick and the whole situation with him kneeling, and then after that, not getting another job in the NFL. The problem with this is, honestly, Colin Kaepernick should have had a job. There are so many quarterbacks that are currently in the league who just aren't good. Maybe Zach Wilson, for example. So it clearly if people want to use the argument he's never been a good quarterback, any of that stuff, that's clearly not a valid reason or excuse, because there are plenty of not even mediocre, just bad quarterbacks in the NFL that have starting jobs, even backup, second, third string. So if that's the case, why isn't Colin Kaepernick on anybody's roster? We all know the real reason why he's not on anybody's rosters. None of these owners like that whole kneeling thing. They didn't like that at all, leading to the culture of the NFL. And the reason why a lot of people feel like Jay-Z, when he signed that deal, he partnered up with the NFL, he just sold out. We know the comments that Jay-Z made when he was like, we off the NFL. So him coming to the NFL and then partnering with them just left a lot of people puzzled. And then people were trying to say, well, he's trying to change the NFL. Sometimes you gotta have a seat at the table to actually get things done. It don't really seem like that seat at the table is pushing anything forward. Seems like there are clearly still problems going on in the NFL, clear from the Brian Flores lawsuit when he was talking about the lack of Black coaches in the NFL and what he went through. And then the new lawsuit that I meant to talk about with Jim Trotter, the former NFL Network reporter, who says that his contract was not renewed because he kept bringing up the lack of diversity in the NFL from coaches and all of that. So there's a clear problem that's still in the NFL, and the fact that Colin Kaepernick does not have a job, has not had a job since the whole kneeling thing, is just clear right there. And I would bet the Jets aren't going to give him any type of opportunity, and I would bet again it has nothing to do with his talent or lack thereof. Let's talk about Deion Sanders. Can't even lie. Deion Sanders in Colorado got whooped. They got bussed by Oregon. But it was about time that they lose one. As my mom said, you can't win them all. And it's better to just lose one now because people are just ready to just rain on his parade. So let's go ahead and get it out the way so we can get back to prime time and just straight W's. What I want to talk about with the game, not about the comments that Oregon's head coach made, because a lot of y'all didn't like those comments when he said they're fighting for clicks, we're fighting for wins. That's nothing to me. Didn't have a problem with that. Thought that it was actually kind of clever, and that's what you should say to your players to like get them riled up. So I'm not really stunned on that. The part I want to talk about, the thing that got me, is I'm scrolling on social media during the game, and I see a tweet that said from a journalist by the name of Carrie Steele, Oregon is taking a stand for all of us. Who is us? WTF, lady. WTF, what are you saying here? Who is us? And what stand are they taking? If that ain't clear, racial undertone, if that ain't clear what she's trying to say, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. In more clear racial undertones, I don't know. Let's talk about this viral video from a gymnastics competition where all the gymnasts were up on a podium. There was, from what it appeared, it was nearly all white gymnasts, and there was one Black gymnast. All of the white gymnasts got medal except the one Black gymnast, and the Black girl just stood there and just watched everyone around her get medal except her. This caused social media to erupt, because why would you do baby girl like that? What I liked about this story is that a lot of Olympic gymnasts spoke out, including Simone Biles. She said, from what I read, that she actually spoke to either the parents of the girl or the little girl. So that was the one win in this story for me, is that the real gymnasts in the game have tried to connect with her and send her love. But whoever is in charge of that should be fired. That's not cool at all whatsoever. If everybody else get medals, she should get one too. Like, what is wrong with y'all? Now let's get into all the things that hate like WTF, even though that was WTF in itself, because the streets have definitely been a raging. The viral video of the bear, the black bear interrupting a family picnic in Mexico and ate all of their food. The bear was just standing on the table. Looked like a grandma was like holding a baby face so close to her chest. And the bear was just chomping on their food and then proceeded to chomp on the food in the baby's ear. The audacity of the bear, WTF. Then I seen this Nebraska homecoming invitation. Y'all not gonna believe what this homecoming invitation said. If I was Black, I will be picking cotton, but I'm white, so I'm picking you for homecoming. WT in the F. Are they serious? Are they serious? This is not adults, these are kids who have that type of thought process to think that that's okay. That's nowhere near funny or clever. That's just foul. More foulness. In 2 Canadian cities, there are whites only posters that advertise a social group where, quote, European children can escape forced diversity. You gotta be kidding me, WTF. Here's what the poster says. Are you looking for somewhere your children can play with others that look like them? Are they tired of being a minority in their schools or daycares? Escape forced diversity and join other proud parents of European children as we create an atmosphere in which our kids can feel like they belong. Invest in your child's sense of well-being and racial identity by giving them the gift of time spent among their own people because they deserve it. Are they serious right now? Are they serious? A social group where European children can escape forced diversity. WT in the F. Apparently, now this is just bewildering. In Ohio, in the month of September, nearly 50 children have gone missing. This should be a state of emergency. This should be all over the news. I don't know why it's not. What's going on in Cleveland, Ohio, where children are just going missing by the tons? President Biden's dog may know something that we don't know. I believe that dogs are a good judge of character. So I don't know. Reports are President Biden's younger dog, Commander, has bitten another Secret Service agent at the White House. This is apparently the 11th known biting incident involving Commander. Clearly, Commander is not rocking with these Secret Service agents to the point where he biting them. He don't trust them at all. And I don't know, he might be on something. Speaking of law enforcement, government agents, a Pennsylvania state trooper was arrested for allegedly having his ex-girlfriend illegally committed to a psych ward. How he had her committed to the psych ward is he showed text messages that tried to make it seem like she was threatening suicide, when in fact he was leaving out the full context of these messages. When the lady was in the psych ward, they said that she didn't display any signs of being suicidal. This is what we're doing. He used government resources to get somebody put in a psych ward because you just didn't like the way things was going with y'all and y'all entanglement. WTF, that's just foul. Chris Brown has been hit with a $2 million lawsuit over an unpaid Popeyes chicken loan. Now, when this first hit social media, there was a whole bunch of jokes. Cause like, what do you mean? A unpaid lawsuit over Popeye's chicken? Like he asked for a loan to get some Popeye's chicken? I'm confused. So I had to click on this article and read it. What this really about is that Chris Brown and some other musical artists took out a loan to purchase 2 Popeyes restaurants, and they allegedly have not paid that loan back. But still, just the headline in itself, WTF. Kanye, or shall I say yay? Kanye is reportedly breaking Italian anti-terror laws by wearing a face mask. You know, Kanye always walk around with his mask on. He's been in Italy. So apparently he's breaking their anti-terror laws. They also say he's been investigated for an alleged indecent exposure incident. Y'all remember that viral video when it seemed like he was getting some oral sex or some head on the boat, on the yacht. Yeah, so that's what they're talking about. I will say, from watching the video, his whole butt cheeks were out, and just where his wife looked like she was on her knees. It definitely seemed like that he was, wowzers. Clap it up for a good WTF moment. The Biden administration is taking the first steps toward removing medical bills from people's credit scores. Clap it up for that. And one day we're going to talk about how credit score rating has not even been around for 50 years. This is something that is fairly new. New York Times reporter then got caught lying. In my opinion, he was lying. No exaggerating. Ain't no hyperbole. No, sir. You're lying. So a New York Times reporter put out a tweet that went viral that said, "This meal just cost me $78 at Newark Airport. This is why Americans think that the economy is terrible." When people seen this, a lot of people just call BS right away. Like, ain't no way that what he really posted really cost $78. Which not only cost, because these social media detectives, not only did people find the restaurant, the owner of the restaurant spoke out and said, it's not true. This is in fact what he ordered, and a large portion of his bill was spent on alcohol, not just this food that he put in this photo. He was known to say, like, okay, maybe he shouldn't tweet. Sir, you lied. Let's not try to walk around this here and try to make it something that is not to exaggerate it, not it was jokes. You straight up lied and tried to make this restaurant look bad. Sad part is you're a journalist or a reporter, which you would think that you have some type of morals or ethics, which won't make people just want to question everything that you've written or wrote because you got caught not being truthful. WTF. That wraps everything I have my WTF for today's episode. Happy HeavieTalk Friday again. Hope that you enjoyed this episode. Make sure that you remember our word of the day. Be mindful of the company that you keep. Don't just be hanging around anybody. They might rub off on you, not in a good way. I will catch you here for more Straight Talk with No Chaser next week. Same place, same time. I'm your girl, Heaven Sharnice, aka Heavy, and I'm out.